For this month's tech tool to use tomorrow, we're going to look at a new option on iOS devices called guided access. And this is available on any iPad or iPod Touch that has iOS 6 on it and is up to date. So how we access this is through settings. This is a great tool that allows you to limit what a user can do on a device. Keeping them in a single app, or keeping certain buttons inside of that app so that they can't be clicked on. This is great for younger students and also good for SPED students and any situation where we may have that's needed to keep a student in a particular app. So to access this, first we need to turn guided access on. That's in settings, and we come to accessibility. And if we scroll down, you'll see here we have guided access. On this iPad, that's turned on. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off real quick. So again, to get to that, we come into settings, we go to general, and then we click on guided access, and we have the toggle here where we want to go ahead and just turn guided access on. So what this does is that guided access, as it says, it keeps the iPad in a single app and allows you to control which features are available. And to start this guided access, we will always triple click the home button once the app that we want to use is open. But to enable this, we need a passcode. And you can set the passcode to any 4-digit thing that you want. Just for ease on this one, I'm just going to set it as 0000, and it's going to ask you just to confirm that. Okay, so that is set up. I'm going to show you what that looks like now. I'm going to hit the home button, and we're going to just open an app. Again, this will work in any app, but I'm going to use this 3D brain as an example. This allows us to look at the brain, but we may have a situation where I don't want student to be able to use any of these buttons on the side. I don't want them to navigate away from this view, but I still want them to be able to navigate the brain as I'm doing right now. So to start, I need to triple click the home button, and that'll open up guided access. Now you see I have a few regions that I've marked off. I can do a few things. I can turn the hardware buttons on and off and make them non-functional. What that means is once I have guided access on, if a student pushes the home button, it won't leave the app. I can turn I can turn touch on and off. If I turn it off, it'll allow none of the screen to respond to touch, and I can turn motion on and off. Some apps use the accelerometer in the iPad to determine what happens, and you can turn that on and off. But let's say in this case I want to just restrict, say, these buttons on the right hand side, or these buttons on the bottom right or bottom left hand corners. What I can do is just with my finger I can draw a shape around those buttons that I want to restrict, and keeping it as close as I can to the screen, and it will give me this box. That will allow me, again, I can resize that box just by dragging the corner, or just make it so it matches up the area that I want. I'm going to add a couple more just so that I'm restricting that area. And it doesn't matter what shape you draw. You can draw triangles and circles, whatever shape the buttons are, and as you can see, it will make my shapes better than what I initially had drawn. Okay, so those are the areas of this screen that I want to restrict. And once this is here, I can go ahead and hit start, and it'll tell me that guided access is started. I can still navigate all of the rest of the app, but those areas, as you can see, they're kind of lined out. You've got those diagonal lines across them. They no longer respond to touch. And as I touch those, there is no response from that app. But I still can, all the other areas that are accessible are still responsive to that touch. Also, if I hit the home button, it says guided access is enabled. I have to triple click to exit. Otherwise, if I'm a student, I can't get out. So if I'm done with that, and again I want to change it or turn it off, if I triple click, it's going to give me the option to enter that passcode. So if a student doesn't have that passcode, they can't ever get out. But if I enter that passcode that I set, it brings me back to this page, and I can change those things. Now I've resumed it, and I now can touch those buttons, and they're once again responsive. Okay, So, you know, I can grant access as much as I want to on that. And again, if I want to triple click, I can completely turn that off by clicking the end button up here in the top left hand corner, or adjust any of those features in guided access that I want. So that's guided access, and again, it's very helpful for SPED students, for younger students. You know, you can turn off whatever parts of the screen that they typically will touch to, you know, navigate away from that app, or even any student that, you know, might need a little bit more help to focus on, you know, what's happening in that app. And if you have any questions, let me know.